I forgot why I boarded this train. Help me, please, for the love of God. They are there. It's all there. I went to see why they were sitting there. The driver didn't even blink. Welcome to the second episode of the series about scary Reddit stories. In these videos, I'm going to present to you the scary stories from Reddit that I find scary and intriguing. Please watch the whole video because in the end I will explain how you can take part in my future videos. Without further ado, let's get started. The first story I'm going to present to you today is called I Forgot Why I Boarded This Train and No One Can Tell Me Where It's Going by the user Girl from the Crypt. Midnight. The train is cramped. There is hardly any available seats at all, which I hate because now I have to sit next to somebody. I choose the spot on the left side of the guy who looks like he's been ripped from a Western movie. He's already fast asleep and that's what I'm hoping to be in just a bit. Writing these down helps me to unwind. 026. There just been a loudspeaker announcement. The first one since I boarded, which is kinda weird. Normally, those come up every time a train arrives at or leaves a station, don't they? Anyways, the voice was really strange, all deep and choky. I couldn't understand what the guy was saying at all. I'm having trouble falling asleep. Thought I'd be out like a light in a matter of seconds, so I'm a little disappointed. 051. I forgot how long the train ride is actually going to be. I keep trying to pull up my online ticket on my phone, but I can't seem to find it anywhere. Battery is at 83%. I'm texting with my mom to pass the time. 055. Mom doesn't remember I was going to board this train tonight. I was so sure I told her. She asked me where I was headed and if this was for work or something, and get this, I didn't know what to tell her. I literally don't know. Where even is this train going? Why in the world am I here? I don't know if I'm amused at my own stupidity or if this is something I should be concerned about. I'm not drunk or high or anything. Is this what brain damage looks like? 059. I've been trying to ask around to figure out where the train is going, but nobody tells me shit. I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do. I can't find anything about it online either. Something's very wrong here. The guy next to me still hasn't woken up. Batteries at 67%. It's emptying a lot faster than before. I can't find my charger. I don't know if I even had it with me. 102. I have no luggage. I can't remember packing. I can't remember waiting at the station. What the f is happening? 152. A new passenger got on. At least she claims she only just boarded now. I actually don't know how because the train didn't stop. She just walked into our wagon. She's shaking and crying and she was looking for a seat. She's not talking to me exactly. She's simply standing in the aisle, rambling and sobbing. 138. I'm crying too by now. As loud as the other girl, if not louder. I'm terrified. The train isn't going to stop. I can't get off anymore. I think I get it. I don't want this. I want to get out. I want my mom. God, no. What did I do to deserve this? 156. The guy next to me just woke up. He's been stirring for a while now. I think I'm keeping him awake with my weeping. So I grab him and go, help me please, for the love of God, help me. And he says there is nothing he can do. He asks for my name and I tell him it's Julie and he tells me he's Jack. He goes, Julie, you gotta come down. Either you come down or you end up getting thrown off the train. You don't want to get thrown off the train. So I ask, what happens when you get thrown off? And he says you will never get to the final destination, but you can go back either. I ask if there is a way back and he shakes his head. No. I don't want this to happen, not to me or anyone, so I start trying to calm down this girl, but it's really difficult. She keeps wailing and thrashing around and I tell her that I get it because I'm scared too, but she won't hear it. She literally just hit me square across the face, so I think I will stop now. 2:37, the girl got thrown off. There was train staff, 2 of them, and they grabbed her and just dragged her away. I don't know where to. I tried to follow them, but Jack held me back. He says that I will lose my internet connection soon because we're almost there. Arrival is scheduled for 3 AM, 2:56. I've spent the last couple minutes texting my mom. I tried to call her too, but it's not letting me. So I sent her a voicemail and she sent one back. She was a little confused because I kept telling her how much I love her. She's up really late for me and she says she will go to bed now, so I sent her another goodnight voicemail. I hope she keeps it for when she misses me. I've listened to hers over and over again and her voice is as sweet and comforting as always. I have to turn off my phone now. It's nearly dead anyways. Jack is still awake. We're going to the same place, so I guess I will just keep talking to him. He's very understanding actually. He's just been on the train longer, so he's had more time to deal with it all. We're both looking forward to getting off the train by now. 10 AM. This is gonna be really hard to explain. 7 hours ago, I woke up in a hospital room. Some guy T-boned my car and apparently things were looking dire for me. I was unresponsive. In fact, the medical staff thought I was gone for good. Here's the thing, I found these notes on my phone, the stuff I shared up above. I swear, I don't remember any of this shit. My mom only just got notified of my accident and she's on her way here. I already went through our chat history and the texts and voicemails I've been describing. They're there. It's all there. It was all written while I was out cold, doctors fighting for my life. There should have been no way for these notes to come into existence. I can't believe it. I don't know what to make of this. That is, I do know, but the implications are just too much for me right now. I figured I'd post this. I'm gonna sleep some more now and wait for my mom to get here. I can't wait to see her. The second story I'm going to present to you today is called "People Always Use My Driveway to Turn Around. A few days ago, someone pulled in and didn't leave," by the user A Hawaiian Short. It happens all the time and I can't help but find it irritating. I live on the outskirts of town, less than a mile away from a busy highway, and people pull into my driveway at all hours of the day. It always makes me nervous, wondering if someone is dropping by unannounced, only to see them sit at the end for a moment before reversing out and driving away. It is most unsettling at night, seeing the headlights cut through the trees in my front yard while they sit there. It makes me wonder if someone is scoping my house out, like they are thinking of robbing me. I park my car in the garage so it always looks like I'm not home. In the end, they always drive away and I'm left feeling foolish at someone's lack of direction. A few days ago, however, someone pulled in and didn't leave. I stood and watched them from the window of my living room, peeking out through the blinds. The car sat there suspiciously, idling just at the end of the driveway. I thought maybe they were lost and checking the GPS on their phone, trying to figure out where they missed a turn. I try not to be a total jerk about it and give them time to figure out where they are going before jumping to conclusions. But it was after 11 o'clock at night and not only they were interrupting my movie, they were weirding me out. When the car stayed there for 5 minutes, I started to get worried. I raised the blinds and started waving to see if I could get some kind of reaction. The car continued to idle there, the faint trail of exhaust rising in the chilly night. Nobody turned on the dome light, nobody got out. Nothing. I just stood there watching, wondering if I should go out there or call the police. Dialing 911 seemed a little ridiculous without even going out and seeing first, so I did something I really didn't want to. I went to see why they were sitting there. I put on my shoes and pulled on a jacket. I brought my phone for light or in case I needed to help them call a tow truck or something. I thought the best case scenario maybe they got a flat tire and their phone had died and they were too nervous to knock on the door. Like I said, it was after 11 and knocking on someone's door at that hour could be just as shady as watching them sit at the end of my driveway. Against my better judgment, I stepped outside. I could hear the engine running in the distance along with the chorus of crickets chirping in the night. It took me a few seconds to get the courage to walk out there. The driveway is pretty long and it's really dark. Everything feels scarier in the middle of the night, especially with no neighbors close by. I swallowed hard and started walking, keeping my eyes on the car as they walked over. I turned on the flashlight function on my phone and tried to keep a steady pace on the way. Gravel crunched under my feet and my palms started to sweat. Maybe they were drunk and fell asleep. Maybe it was a couple of young kids lost on a late night out. When I got about 20 feet away, I got a sick feeling in my stomach. Something felt off, especially when I could see the driver behind the wheel. They were just looking at me like they were frozen. I could only faintly make out their eyes, a pale visage within the darkness of the front seat. "Hello?" I asked aloud, trying not to sound as nervous as I was. No response. The driver didn't even blink. I took a couple steps closer, trying to see if there was anyone else in there with them. The urge to call the police itched at me more the closer I got. "You lost? This is private property," I called out again. The features in the driver's face looking more unsettling the closer I got. I could only see their eyes, their nose. Why couldn't I see anything else? Why weren't they moving? The headlights were blinding, making it hard to see. I kept pushing forward, holding up a hand to try and block so I could see. I had no choice but to get closer and try to get around to the driver's side to get a better look. More crunching footsteps and their car getting louder. The driver didn't move a muscle, didn't motion to me or anything. I realized I was holding my breath, the anxiety welling within me as I approached. Her hands in front of her, holding the wheel. But it was so dark in there I couldn't see her hands, only the unmoving stare. A strong feeling of foreboding radiated from the airy car and my body begged to turn and run back to the house. Something was wrong. Very, very wrong. I walked around the front of the vehicle to the driver's side and held up my flashlight to see them. They didn't turn to look at me. They didn't do anything. My eyes slowly calibrated what was in front of me, and when it finally pieced together, I wanted to scream. The woman was dead. Her lifeless eyes frozen on my house, unable to look away. Her throat had been slashed and the entire car was spattered with blood. Duct tape was everywhere, a single wrap across her forehead to hold her in place, a strip over her mouth so she couldn't speak, and several tight bands around her wrists to keep them on the steering wheel. Her hands had been removed. I called the police, frantically looking everywhere as the world seemed to be caving in on me. An operator picked up immediately, and through my terrified ramble, I subconsciously took in the scene as I explained what was happening. There was nobody in the back seat and no signs of anyone leaving. I started to panic more, looking in the trees and back towards the house, expecting to see someone watching. But there was nobody else. Nobody except me and the butchered woman. The operator instructed me to go back inside and lock the doors until help arrived. I sprinted back to the front door. The sounds of my own steps haunts me as I made my way back to the porch. Once inside, I slammed the door and locked it, flinching at every sound as the voice on the other line tried to keep me quiet. My heart raced so hard in my chest I thought I would have a heart attack. The police arrived in less than 2 minutes. One car at first with an officer getting out of the vehicle gun drawn, then another, then 2 more. The fire department was next, and the wailing siren bled into the barrage of lights that lit up my entire house. It didn't feel safe to be there, even after officers came in and searched the house, and scoured the entire property. They didn't find anyone, and the killer didn't leave anything behind. The days that followed blurred together. I had to take some time off work between the questioning and my driveway turning into a crime scene. I couldn't go anywhere if I tried. I didn't sleep much, between the police, a lawyer, and the news crews. I wasn't alone for a while. They searched everything. The basement, the attic, the woods behind my house. They even looked in the crawl space to see if they were holed up in there. There was no evidence left behind, no inclination of where they went either. The killer was never found. I didn't learn much about the woman I found, other than they suspect she was picked at random on her way home from work. Eventually things went back to normal and I was allowed to go back to work. It was a relief to get out of the house. Even after they towed that poor woman's car away, I couldn't help but think of it every time I looked outside. Getting into town and behind my desk was a welcome distraction, and once I was able to busy my mind, it was easier to pretend it was all just a bad dream. That was until I was driving home last night. I was about halfway home when I started noticing an odor, like I had driven past some roadkill. I tried rolling up the windows and it got worse, a heavy rotting smell that made me gag. I realized it was something inside the car. When I pulled over to find it, I looked under the seats and in the trunk, thinking maybe I had left out some raw meat from the last time I went shopping. I didn't find anything and I found myself scratching my head at a loss. Until I looked at the glove box and I saw it was leaking. When I hit the button and opened it, the scent exploded into the cab along with a cloud of buzzing flies. Stuffed inside the glove box was the pair of women's hands, decomposed and swelling against the duct tape that wrapped around them. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss my future videos. If you want to take part in my future videos, you can send me your creepy stories and I will present them. Right now you can see all my social media platforms on the screen. You can send your scary stories to me on any platform, or you can just leave a comment with your story under this video. Again, thank you so much for watching my video and stay safe.